Oh, yeah. Peanut butter cup Dorito sausage car panini. And let's crack a Cadbury egg over the whole thing. Just gonna use my spare glove compartment underwear as a napkin. I can't believe Randy Quaid gets to eat like this every day.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Binging with Babish, where this week we're taking a look at Peter's Car Panini by popular demand. And while we've got all the ingredients on hand, wait a moment, we need something else to be a little bit more accurate. This is a car panini, after all, not a Babish home laboratory panini. So with great difficulty, we're going to wrangle our ingredients and head on out into the great outdoors. But not the great outdoors as you might imagine it. No, we're cooking in my actual car, which, like all of my possessions, I happily sacrifice for science. So let's get all situated in our makeshift kitchen here, and let's get our ingredients going. We've got Vienna sausages in the can. Make sure you drain off that sausage juice. Nice. And then next up we have to butter our bread. Now I know that Peter didn't butter his bread, but I can't imagine a panini without buttered bread. I mean, come on, why else try and make a panini? So otherwise we're remaining strictly faithful to Peter's recipe. So next up we've got a layer of peanut butter cups and then a layer of crushed Doritos. To me they look like nacho cheesier Doritos from the clip. I'm sorry, my hand's in the way. Let's try doing a one-handed crumble. Perfect. And last up we have the Cadbury egg, which was very hard to find this time of year and would not crack like a traditional egg. So we're just going to sort of mash it in there and then place the buttered top half of our sandwich onto the top of our sandwich and ready our panini press. Now I should not have to tell you that you should not try this at home or in your car or anywhere. Not only is this really gross, but it's also a multitude of fire hazards and you will inevitably spill all your toppings on your nice leather upholstery. Don't spill it, don't spill it. Oh god, I spilled it. Alright, let's try that one more time, this time taking the whole panini press down to make sure nothing ends up on your car, just your soft human body. Not only does Peter do a sort of pull apart cross section like this, he applies his spare glove compartment underwear as a napkin, so I'll do the same. And let's see how many bites I can eat of this thing. Here's one, and chewing a little bit more, and that's enough. I don't know how you guessed, but this is a really gross sandwich, so let's see if we have better luck back in the lab. Same procedure here, just buttering the bread and topping with gross stuff, and then breaking our Cadbury egg into fours to even the load on the top layer of bread. Then maybe let's try a slightly better panini press, maybe that'll make the difference. You may notice how exquisitely careful I'm being. That's knowledge only gained from dumping the bowels of a junk food sandwich into one's own car. We've got some nice grill marks, which was helped by not having a windshield in the way. Look at that, this thing must weigh like a solid £1.5. And at last we can get a proper cross section. Look, there's a little Cadbury egg stretch. Ew, gross. You can see my hesitation in having to take my third and final bite of this horrible thing in one day. A couple courtesy chews and let's spit it out because it's really disgusting. And I have to admit I am stumped. Normally I try to make a quote-unquote good version of every gross food I make on this show, but I can't figure it out. That's where you come in. Try to make a halfway palatable version of this sandwich. Take a picture, tag me on Instagram, hashtag, I don't know, Babish Panini. The winner I choose will win a chef's knife and will have their recipe featured on the 3 million subscriber episode. Good luck, you guys, this one is a doozy. And now it's time to give it a DougScore. Starting with the weekend categories and styling, this sandwich looks pretty good but not great. It's nothing special or iconic and it gets a 4 out of 10. Next up is acceleration, which is virtually non-existent and it gets an automatic 1 out of 10. Handling is abysmal. This sandwich deteriorates almost instantly thanks to all the chocolate and sausage and it gets a 2 out of 10. Cool factor is low. Family Guy doesn't have the comedic pedigree it had in seasons 1 through 4, and while this is a standout episode for its lack of manatee jokes, it still only gets a 3 out of 10. Importance is a bit higher. This is the first Babish episode to feature absolutely zero actual cooking technique, and while that's reprehensible, it's at least a milestone and it gets a 5 out of 10, for a total weekend score of 15 out of 50, right between the Land Rover Evoque and the Yugo GV. Next up are the daily categories, starting with features, and let's face it, this is not a well-equipped sandwich. It lacks even the most basic roughage and cheese toppings, standard on most modern sandwiches, and it gets a 2 out of 10. Comfort is decent, it feels inoffensive in the eater's hand, and gets a 5 out of 10. Quality is low, these are gas station ingredients thrown together almost spitefully, and it gets a 1 out of 10. Practicality is also surprisingly low. Despite the ubiquity of most of its ingredients, I nearly electrocuted myself making a panini press function in my car, and the sheer seasonality of Cadbury eggs gives this a 2 out of 10. Value is also not a strong point. Even though this sandwich costs less than $2 to make if you buy it in bulk, you could spend your money much better elsewhere. From a sheer caloric/survival standpoint, it gets a 3 out of 10. Add it all up and the total DougScore is 28 out of 100, besting only the Trabant and the BMW Isetta, and inexplicably worse than the Hummer H2.